Hello, welcome my people. Welcome to another awesome day. It is beautiful here in sunny North Carolina, and it is a beautiful day for sports unless you are a Timberwolves fan. And in that case, you're probably a little salty, a little chips of saltiness. But you know what? That will change very, very quickly, I am sure. They still have the one and only Giant Man. Giant man. Ah, see, there you go. I just coming up with puns everywhere. All right, so we are going to have a two-part paint to paint, a two-part paint today, and it's going to be great. We're going to have a special guest on later. We have a special guest on today, but he's a part of the regular crew from the previous Slash the Paint on Total Apex and also on Get Fired Up. He's a friend of the show. He is a co-host, and like I said, with every Bonnie, there's a Clyde. With every with every dynamic duo, there you go. That's just got to be. It's got to be. With every peanut butter is a chocolate. With every peanut butter is jelly. No is better than the other. With every ketchup, there's a mustard. And you know what? I'll let it be you to decide, because this guy may be a G. He stands for JV, but I call him varsity. His name is Josh Valdez. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen.
I love the intro, man. Round of applause for you. Appreciate that. And shout out to whoever made that intro for you for the show. That was dope. Never seen that.
Well, I mean, yeah, whoever. Well, I came up with a little something myself. Someone else came up with the beat. I licensed it. It's mine. It's this show's. That is ScOutCast, baby. All right.
I've been able to see you rise up the podcasting world, so I'm just very happy.
I know I'm getting better. I'm improving. I'm trying a little. I've learned from people that are wiser than me. And then
of course that's how it goes.
I'm wiser than some. I'm not as wise as others. So I'm a genius because I know when I'm not a genius. Okay, so that's what it is. Varsity, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm happy to be here. I am still kind of reeling from my Knicks getting completely ravaged by injuries.
Yes.
But I'm also happy because the Yankees are doing well, so not all is bad. But I am also happy though about the Mavericks. I'm sorry, the Timberwolves beating the Nuggets. I think it was a very unexpected outcome, and it just is kind of exciting for the league, because the Nuggets kind of looked like invincible for a hot second. So it's always good to kind of take down the giant and let someone else get some glory, So I'm still excited about the playoffs. I'm not going to be a completely salty man,
Yeah. So, don't be too salty, bro.
I'm not going to be a lazy bag,
This is salt and vinegar, Say, hey, this podcast is brought to you by Lay's, no, by Frito-Lay. I wish. No, it's everyone. If you have not paid attention, which you should, and because if you haven't watched, you're missing out, because we've been making people bank. And again, do as I say, not as I do, because I have not followed my own advice on bets, which is not a recommendation I give to people. But we've been making some dough with people, but we've also been giving good insight and good predictions. I will also want to say that this is one of our Knicks fans. I think I work exclusively with Knicks fans, minus the special guest. There's a special guest that will be on later. He is a Spurs fan, so right. He's like me. We're lowly. We have all rookie players, but Yeah, it just didn't happen this year. Okay, let's not go. Let's not go there. Let's go to something happier. Well, depends on what city you're from. If you're a Cowboys fan, not as much. But if you are a Mavs fan, you went into the Timbs territory and you stomped on them with some Timbs because man, those Mavericks went in and circled those Wolves, man.
Yeah, man. So it's funny. This morning I was playing some 2K. I was playing as the Mavericks against the Wolves against the computer. I was like, man, this guy Luke is good. Like this guy can just do it all, and the game's not exaggerating. He does that in real life. Like
Yeah.
he's been fighting through injuries, probably playing on some kind of painkillers. And the guy he just makes people bounce off him. He can score on every level. But Luka's not even really the big news for me with the Mavs. It's the rest of the team, like PJ Washington and those fools. Those guys have been far exceeding my expectations, and that was why I couldn't take the Mavs seriously for a while because I didn't think that anyone else was going to do anything besides him and Kyrie. But it's not been the case at all. PJ Washington's been killing it. Derek Lively, has been killing it, especially after his mom died. Derek Jones, these dudes are all playing their role, and I think their offense is a lot better than Minnesota's. Minnesota they hang their hat on their defense. If they can't strap them up defensively, they're not going to win the series. So, game 1 was really tight, though, right? So I still think this could easily go 7 games. What do you think, Rock?
I agree, and I like what you said on a couple of points here. The thing that Minnesota has over Dallas is they're deeper. They are deeper than Dallas is, especially in the front court. Naz Reid is the truth.
He's very good, yeah.
He is. He's very, very good. That was a great decision to hold on to him. I disagree about. I'll push back. I don't disagree, but I'll push back on a couple of things. Mm-hmm. I think that I believe that the Timberwolves have a very they may not have the backcourt equivalency to them, but they have a pretty good backcourt. They still have Mike Conley. They still have Giant Man. I mean, it's and Karl Anthony Towns can play face up, or he does play. Who am I saying he can? He does play face up. He was clutch yesterday. That 30 footer he drained was like bags.
Yeah, I was mad that they didn't count that one dunk he had because that was epic.
I don't even care. I don't care what Alan Hahn said on today on ESPN show. It said like, oh, it was within the cylinder. I'm like, no, you can see it. It's okay, maybe like by the
yeah, it was very close. It was like razor thin,
Yeah, like the width of a freaking razor, the width of a armpit hair. Dear Lord, that was like ridiculously close. I mean, come on. And they only took him 5 seconds to look at. Whatever. But that's not what made the game. That's not what happened. Right. But what it made the game, we expect so much from Ant that he almost had a triple-double. He was 2 assists away from a triple-double. He needs he's taking his average shot distance yesterday, 20 feet, 20.5 feet. That's his average, and that's almost 3 points each. He is a striker. I mean, he can shoot. But you set up the inside to go outside. That's where their bread and butter is. Because once you go inside, and that's where they get the rebounds. Use your size. You got 3 big men, 3 solid big men. I mean, so go in there with the big boys to the trees. Let them box out. Get some second chance points. It's like I'm doing my. I've said this later. It's like I'm talking to my youth basketball team again. Like, stop taking threes. Don't shoot out. You're not Steph Curry and Clay. Don't shoot outside to go inside. Go inside to get the outside pop out.
Right.
It's like, but I think they're still in good shape. This is going to be. I think this could easily be a 7-game series.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that what Ant said. He said that we were tired. I believe him.
Yeah.
I think that's why they weren't driving because driving takes more energy than just standing up and shooting. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah, but that's weak sauce. But yeah, but this point you got to drain the tank at this point. You got to because
it's not that. Yeah, well, it's not that they can't drive. It's not that they're out of energy, but it's just it is a marathon. Like they can't. I mean, they had just played Game 7 the other day. The Mavs were a little bit more well rested. It's a war of what's it called? A war of attrition,
War
right?
of attrition. Is that what they said?
Does. It does make a difference. I don't think it's going to be the same problem every game, but
No.
No. I mean,
It's a slow. This is gonna be, like I said yesterday. This is a slow. These are two of the slower pace. Shout out to my dude Andre, Mr. Pace Man. They are. He's all about that pace. No, and these are two of the slowest teams in terms of pace. They love to slow to the half court. That's their thing, and it helps because it behooves them to on the Timberwolves side because they have so many bigs. They're not going to be the Pacers where they're running sprints back and up and down the floor. Excuse me, but
right.
I still think this is going to be a really good series. I would be shocked if we'll get into this tomorrow, but I would predict that the Timbs come back strong and Ant's not going to be held under. Well, I'll tell you what. That actually is a perfect segue to where are you having a cause for the pause about Giant Man? I hadn't thought about Giant Man until just until this, so I would have edited that. He's had 2 straight games with sub 20-point performances. Do you have any kind of cause for the cause about that?
Not really. I mean, we've seen he could drop 40 at any moment. So, I do think that he was trying to like get other teammates involved, and he was probably tired, and he probably just didn't fully have his legs under him, as he does when he's at 100%. So I think the next couple of games you'll see him score at least 25 plus, with no issue. Especially because like the Mavs defense it's fine, but it's not like they're gonna like lock him down, So I'm not worried about it because he's done this all playoffs. Like he'll kind of like have a quieter game and then he'll have 45. I think it's just the pattern that he's on. He's not gonna drop 40 every game, but he'll do it more than once. So.
Well, he can't do that 20-foot average.
Yeah. No, he just has to slash. He has to slash through the paint.
Yes, he has to slash the paint. He has to go paint to paint. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Slash and go paint to paint.
Which I think he will. I mean, next game, I fully expect him to not settle for jumpers.
Shout out to the Hornets as well. I said this yesterday. One, PJ Washington's playing really well. I'll always have a place in my special place with me.
Shout out to the Hornets.
I love PJ. He was always loyal, and I understood why we traded him, and I'm actually happy for him. He's on a contender, and he's showing off to the world right now. So
yeah,
good for him. You know who else is a former Hornet? Jaden McDaniels. And guess what? He is the only one that Ant gave credit to. He said the only one that came ready to play was Jaden McDaniels. And actually, shout out to Jordan, our other esteemed colleague. That was his fantasy pick. That was his prop pick yesterday. There you go. And it was the one person that Giant Man said he came to play. And and he went to Wake Forest, so I'm not mistaken, which is in North Carolina. Everything ties together. It all comes back. It's North Carolina centric here. There we go.
I feel like ever since Ant had that viral clip where he was like, "Yeah, well, the Suns got KD, but we got Jaden McDaniels." Ever since then, Jaden's just been doing his thing, man. I'm happy.
I love Jaden McDaniels, man. He's awesome. I loved him on Charlotte too. I was actually I loved that Charlotte team. Let me just name some. Let me just give.
I didn't realize he was on Charlotte. Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, for a few years. Let me actually shoot some just because we don't want to run through this too much, and we can go a little off course here. It's still basketball. The Hornets teams these are the teams I loved. We had LaMelo Ball. I think at this one point it was LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, Jay McDaniels came off the bench. Who was our center? Oh Lord, was it Cody Zeller at that time? Yeah, I think it was Cody Zeller at that time. Yeah, I mean, but he wasn't
one of my least favorite players, man.
He wasn't bad. Well, Mason better than Mason Plumlee in many ways. Well, Mason Plumlee had to switch. Dude was so bad at free throws. he literally had to switch to go to a one-handed left. He went to his offhand shoot. He still does it on the Clippers. It's the ugliest thing you've ever seen. But he can rebound. But yeah, it was Cody Zeller. But that was our starting lineup, and we had a couple of bench players. Oh, and we had Cody Martin. Still have him. But it was I loved that team. That team was scrappy. Even though we didn't get we were mediocre by record, we were fun to watch. And now we're all separated. Although we do have Brandon Miller, which is really cool. So, you're muted. All right. Nah, still muted. I'll cover for you. But I'll retort to this. Yeah, I'm not that worried about Ant's. I mean, even with a sub 20-point game, he still had 11 rebounds, 8 assists, followed with 18 or 19 points. Can't remember at the moment. So it's a matter of I mean, he's going to go off, just like my dude over here said. My muted friend, just like he said, he's going to go off, and he's like Michael Jordan on The Last Dance. Like, I take it personally. He takes it. He's going to take it personally. He's going to come out. Oh, we're having technical difficulties on the JV side, the varsity side. He's going to go off. Don't get it twisted. And I'd be shocked if I think it's going to be him, Naz Reid, and Jaden McDaniels, who are going to be the ones that step up majorly. And that's going to be the linchpin that comes into it. Ant-Man needs to come out there and just ball out. I have no doubt in my mind he's going to. Naz Reid has been under the radar balling. He's sixth man of the year for a reason. And they just need to go, like I said, they need to go into the paint. They need to slash that sucker, and they need to get fouls. Play from the inside out. That's what your specialty is. Stop this 20 feet to the basket average from Ant. I mean, I know you're tired, but I mean, only the strong survive. There is no tomorrow. You might as well empty the tank. Uh-oh, we got a return. What's up?
You hear me?
Yep, I hear you. Switch to the phone.
Right.
Switch to the phone, did we?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this guy has a janky computer, so we'll accept. We had Jordan on here when he was on the subway going back to the Bronx the other day. We'll accept.
Oh my God, that's hardcore.
It was very New York, because we were also talking about the Knicks. It was extremely New York.
Wow. Yeah, that's
the only way it could have been more New York if he had stopped at a bodega on the way home.
right.
He's like ordering a capricola or something, like capricola or in salami sandwich or something.
Oh my God, yeah. Jordan's a hardcore New Yorker.
Yeah, no, let me get a Reuben on rye. Hey. You know what I need to try? I went to a deli the other day. You know what? I have never had capricola. Should I try?
A deli in North Carolina?
Well, they have New Yorkers come. Well, there's a lot of New Yorkers that come to North Carolina. Floridians and Floridians and New Yorkers, because we're right in the middle. We have mountains. We have mountains and beach, and the temperatures fairly regulated. So no, they come here. So a lot of them open up delis, and this is when I went to O'Brien's Deli. Guys, definitely. I used to coach my brother in basketball. He's from I think he's from Brooklyn. But I've never had a capricola. I've never had capricola before. Should I try a capricola?
I've never had a capricola either, I have to admit.
You're from New York.
I know, but I haven't had like everything, you know. Maybe Jordan has, though. We'll have to ask him later.
I'm sure. Yeah, we're gonna have to ask him, and I'm gonna have to ask all of the people I know here have lived in New York or live in New York at one point. Gabe lives in New York. Andre has lived in New York most of his life. You live in New York. I don't know if you still live in New York. My Wi-Fi is getting lit now. Everyone lives in New York. I'm surrounded by New Yorkers. It's like I'm living in Miami or something. So not even New York. Like I'm living in Miami. Okay, right. So everyone leave in the comments section. Should I try capricola? That's what I need to know, because I like salami and I like cold cuts. I've never even had pastrami.
You never had pastrami?
I've never
that
had
you gotta have.
Is it what is it like? Just so I know. What's pastrami like?
It's like it's kind of like ham, but like with more. It's more of a zest to it. It's more flavor.
It's like prosciutto, kind of.
Kinda.
I'm allergic.
Pastrami is like it goes very well with like cold cuts and stuff like that.
Okay.
It has like a certain like seasoning on it. So
right.
it's kind of like ham, but more like it has more personality.
Okay.
You know?
Ooh, it's got more person. It's a popular person ham. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to prosciutto, so I got to be careful with that.
What? Oh, that's
I
important.
know it's weird. It's the one I can eat most ham products, but I cannot.
That's a very specific allergy.
I know, it's so weird. I don't know how they cure it. I just have to figure it out. But the only way to do it, Capricola is next on my list. Though. I'm going to get I'm going to go get like a cold cut soon here, like the next day or two. I'm going to get a Capricola and some Swiss on rye or something like that.
Let me know how that goes.
I will. I mean, as a New Yorker, as a New York kind of style, I guess I should get spicy mustard on it too.
Oh, totally.
There you go. All right, now let's move back to basketball. Any more? Now I'm hungry. I'm like, damn, I could go for a sandwich. So, any more thoughts on this game before we move on? Because I still think, I think it comes down to it. Empty the tank, because once you get to the NBA Finals, if you get there, you get more days off in between. So
right.
You'll have time they'll have time to get there. What do you think? Any more comments about this? Anyone you're looking out for in terms of
So I think when it comes to the Wolves, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that I want to see Cat like take that next step to become like a 30+ point kind of like consistent performer this series. I think if he does that, they'll take it in 6 games. Because I feel like Cat can do it. He just kind of holds back. He's a little bit passive sometimes. He has the size and the power to really dominate, but he kind of settles for like jumpers and it does not really use his full potential, you know. So I like to see Cat really step up and be that kind of consistent threat that really strikes fear into the defense. You know, they have to game plan around him too. Mm-hmm. He's still good, but I feel like Cat like back in the old Wolves days when he was the only good player, like he was really going crazy, you know. And he hasn't really been doing that, and you know he hasn't. Of course, the presence of Edwards makes it different, but I think that if he approaches 30, you know, per game or 25 every single game from here on out, I think the Wolves can take this. So he's one I'm looking at.
I agree with that. Catmandu, because Cat can do with Catmandu. There we go.
That's right.
I mean, I don't mind him doing face up. Again, he's not a back to. I think he should play closer to inside to where he can work outside. He shouldn't settle just for.
He does settle a little bit. Like he plays softer than he should, you know.
But his shot is gold though. The funny thing is he doesn't even leave the ground basically when he's shooting. Like that 30-footer, right. He literally was like on his tiptoes essentially. He just sits there and like, he's got it's a weird shot, but damn it, if it doesn't go in.
Right.
And so does Nas. Man, the only one that can't shoot it, and he did it. The one game was was the Stifle Tower over there. Rudy. All right. Well, you know, let's talk about speaking of threes. Let's talk about the C's. What C's teams are we going to see tonight? Oh, punny. Star most likely to slap the paint, baby. They gonna slap tonight. Slap the paint for the Pacers tonight.
I was so mad the way game 1 ended, man. Like
you're not even a Pacers fan.
No, I'm not. But I don't. You know, I would like to see them beat the Celtics. It'd be funny. I don't expect it though.
I agree. You're not. Oh, so you're not like Jordan. You're not being Tom Petty, where he's like he wants to see them. He said he's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. He's like.
I mean, I don't take the Pacers seriously. Like they would not have beaten the Bucks even if the Bucks were healthy. They would not have beaten us if we were healthy. they're not a bad team. They're just not. They don't really belong in this kind of like level, you know. So, you know, the fact that we even went 7 games when we had half the roster is like shows you, you know, that imagine if we were healthy. So, you know, the Bucks literally were missing Giannis and Dame for a lot of the series, you know.
True.
So, yes, the Pacers played well in game 1, but then they blew it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Halliburton was turning it over way too much.
Yes.
So I think the Celtics, honestly, I don't see them like faltering again. I think game 1 was the Pacers' chance to really like do some damage. I don't see the Celtics being that shaky again 2 games in a row. I think that the Celtics will win by at least 8 points. Especially at home. Even without Porzingis, it's just hard for me to really like be confident in the Pacers. You know what I mean? In this series, I think someone who can go off for the Pacers is Miles Turner, especially with the absence of Porzingis. But even then, like I don't think he's gonna take over the game. You know. I think that the Celtics are good enough where they can bullshit most of the game, and then they have some crazy Jaylen Brown shot like last time, you know, and then they end up winning anyway. I think that this game they'll play a little bit more wire to wire. Because like it's just how likely is it that the Pacers get close to beating them again on the Celtics home floor? You know, like what do you think?
I actually am gonna. This is the first time where I'm gonna 100% disagree with you.
Okay.
So we finally got a little bit of controversy here.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from. Actually, and I said this, and I have receipts to everyone out there. You know this because if you watched, you're cool and you understand. If you don't, then you're missing out. And join us, baby, over at Paint to Paint ScOutCast. That's what's good. All right, because we scout with the cast and we outcast, and then we got to do it, baby. All right. I think this game is going to go lopsided one way or the other. It's either going to be a whoop ass for the Celtics or a whoop ass for the Pacers. It's going to be like those the game 6 and 7 with the Knicks with the Pacers, or it's going to be like the Knicks where they whoop the ish out of the Pacers that one game. And I agree with you, by the way. I think the Knicks doing that well previous series says more about the Knicks than the Pacers. You play who's in front of you. And the Knicks weren't going away. I mean, I love JB. JB is that dude, man. He is awesome.
He is.
Yeah, he is. He's that dude. We are, carrying over from our other shows. This is still a safe spot for JB lovers, so it's okay. He is a class act and a freaking fierce competitor. Dude's about to get a nice extension this off season.
Yeah, he's apparently willing to take less too, which is
I'm not surprised. He's just a class act, dude.
He's just such a G. It's unbelievable. Like
I said, do you think this season was a disappointment, or do you think this season was you guys actually had a successful season? It's like, did we win the championship? And he says like, did we get close? Verbatim, he said it.
Yeah,
I played. That's what I want. That's why I would measure. That's why I measure my success at. Like, what a G! What a G answer that was. It wasn't like Mike Malone or whatever his name is, where it was like a dick answer.
Yeah, I remember one time Giannis. Someone asked that to Giannis. I think like last season, and he asked a reporter like, "Okay, so like, do you consider every year a failure where you don't get promoted?" And like he had an attitude. I don't know if you remember that. It was like because the Bucks got bounced out by the Heat in the first round.
Yeah, no, because he was injured pretty much most of the Bucks. And even when he came back, he was gimpy. Yeah,
right.
But it was. Now I do remember him being a little salty, but I don't know. I guess I'm gonna give Giannis a pass though. That dude's he's a class act too though.
No, he's fine. Yeah, I think he was just frustrated after
Just don't take his basketball. All right, just don't take his basketball. Ironically, it's the Pacers who took his basketball. Ironically,
right.
Speaking, so back, great segue back here. So the Pacers are not going to go quietly into that night. They are not going to. And the C's, you said they're at home. The C's have notoriously dropped games at home inexplicably. They should have dropped the previous game. I thought the game that they were most going to lose, people kept saying it's game 2. I thought it was yesterday or 2 days ago. Because the Pacers they weren't fresh, but they were still like in game mode. And the C's have absolutely just coasted. Like the anti-Knicks, so I call them.
Right.
Like the Knicks battled and gritted through no matter what, even in this regular season to wrap it up, which gave them the 2nd seed. And they still just kept scrapping. Celtics just coast. They're on like cruise control sometimes because they do this stupid thing, and I'll say it and I'll beat it into the ground. What they do is they'll get a double-digit lead, and then they'll just start doing this weird thing where they just either only shoot. Al Horford just camps on the on the corner of the 3 line, just it's like this. Might as well be doing his taxes, and like signing his 401k because he's getting geriatric over here. And I like Al Horford, but and then there's Jason Tatum, who's a powerful dude and should be going to the basket. Speaking of going to the basket a lot more, he'll do this thing where he just dribble, and then shoot. And he'll take this way lower percentage shot where he could be going. And Jaylen Brown is the only one they just pop threes. That's all it is. Like dribble, shoot. It's like Charles Barkley says, dribble, step back shot. And then they'll let the team just back in it. They'll just coast. I mean, that's why I love Ant, man. That's why I love Ant, man. That's why I love Ant, bro. He is an absolute, because he's a dog. He is going to go for your throat. He's going Wu-Tang style, like protect your neck. He's going to go after you. All right. And Jason Tatum doesn't have that. He just doesn't have that. I don't know if Jaylen Brown does. So we'll see, man. And Chris Schnapps comes back. He's still going to be like on a sprained calf. And he's going against a sprint squad, the team that's going to look what they did to the Knicks. That was very intentional that every time they got a ball, even on the inbound, they ran because they knew the Knicks were depleted. So they're going to try it. The Celtics.
Yeah, no, I mean the Pacers can turn any game into a track meet. That's fine, but the Celtics are just, it's like the fact that the Celtics, like you said, were on cruise control and doing all this dumb shit last game, they still won, because they're just better.
Yeah, but but how has that served them in the past few years? How many championships they got?
No, I know I'm not a Celtics lover, it's fine. I'm just saying, like, in this case, the thing is that they got lucky with the East, with the Bucks and the Knicks getting hurt, because those are their main threats. The Pacers, I just don't see them as a main threat. Like, do you see them winning more than 2 games this series?
Yes.
The Pacers?
I think they win at least 2 games. I think I actually have this series possibly going to 7 games.
Well, I said more than 2, but okay, so you think they can take it to 7?
I think they can take it to 7. The reason I also say that is it's because also, all right, look at the Miami series this past year when they played. They lost to Miami in the Easterns. They have the same pattern, and Missoula is just as much to blame. Well, that's why Missoula's probably good. If they lose in either series, especially this one, Missoula's gone. I mean, bet on. I've been saying it all season. You've heard me. I said bet on that.
I do. I do think Boston is going to lose in the finals.
If whoever they play, it doesn't matter who they play. I think they're going to. In Boston would like. I think the Pacers could win this series. It's Missoula. He's the same way. He resorts to dumb-ish. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, they get comfortable and they just. But the Pacers aren't going to be comfortable. They're going to be. They're young and inexperienced, but they're hungry. And Miles Turner, especially. Miles Turner is like straight up Michael Jordan. He's not Michael Jordan. He's doing the MJ, like, I take it personally. Because he's like in his 9th year. And he has the best 3-point percentage of any player in the playoffs right now.
Really? That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's like 40%, I think, something like that. Maybe a little higher. Yeah, no, he's playing his tail off right now.
Yeah, well, that's why I picked him for like for a player today. But
no, who needs to be the most important person on that Pacer squad is Pascal Siakam.
Yeah.
Because he plays both sides that well. And Halliburton also needs to be more aggressive as well.
Well, yeah, Halliburton just kind of like you can tell you can tell he's inexperienced sometimes with the way he's playing. Like it's just like the way he just is so careless with the ball, and he's so like herky jerky and kind of like. I remember after Jaylen Brown's last shot, that crazy three, Halliburton had a chance to get a good look, but then he just like he got totally destroyed by the team. It was like not even a real shot.
He got flustered. It's also in two plays before that, which would have been Nolan. It would have canceled out the need. Well, Rick Carlisle deserves a lot of blame because he should have called a timeout with that sideline. Inbound. And before that, Howie got the ball, and I thought maybe Drew Holiday stole it from him. He just fumbled it and went out of bounds. So he got flustered. I mean, he's a star, but that's the difference between him and Shea and SG.
Shea?
Yeah, Shea. SGA. Thank you. So, a lot of acronyms, alphabet soup over here. So he's still really good. He's got one of the best pullback shots. Even it's so funny, his shot's like a foot in front of his face.
I know his jump was weird,
but he manages to get it off, which is incredible to me.
Right.
But if he's on like Game 7 of the Knicks, I mean,
yeah, I know the Pacers were shooting like freaking 75% for most of that game. You know.
It was a record set. It was a literal record-setting playoff shooting performance.
Yeah, no. When the Pacers are on, they can outscore anybody. But again, it's just like making those dumb mental mistakes and having severe defensive issues is what holds them back.
And the coaching aspect is also not to be underestimated because I know Carlisle is a better coach than Missoula. I don't have a problem with Missoula personally, except for the fact he's looked just only like a couple of years older than me, and he's a head coach at the NBA. So now that bothers me. But other than that, that's just petty, though.
Yeah, well, he also just doesn't. He's not very impressive, in general.
But I think this game, yeah. So wait, you see this being a gentleman's sweep, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, I think the Celtics will win in 5.
Okay. We'll mark that down right now.
Yeah.
You got the gentleman's sweep. I got it going 6, but possibly 7.
Okay.
I think it depends. Whatever happens tonight. Well, the Pacers are undefeated at home in the postseason so far, and the Celtics are 500 at home in the playoffs.
Right.
That's weird, especially after being like having the best home record in the NBA all regular season.
Yeah, no, the Celtics have a choking issue. There's no doubt about it.
It's a playing with their food thing. They play with their peas and carrots. They like to just
they do.
Yeah, moving it to the side, feeding it to the dog. Yeah,
right. But I think that the Pacers. This is the first time that they're playing a team that's like mostly healthy, and it's just gonna kind of smack them across the face, because the Celtics are a more well-rounded team on both ends of the floor, and that's ultimately what's gonna win you the series. The Pacers can outrun you and outshoot you and stuff like that, but they just they don't have anybody that's gonna stop, even like Derek White consistently, So,
let's put it this way: the Pacers' biggest enemy, their biggest competitor, is against themselves.
Right.
They're big. That's what I've been saying this whole season. Like their biggest enemy. It's like what I said. Actually, I said the Knicks' biggest enemy was Tibbs. That's debatable. That's for a different. That's a different conversation.
I think Tibbs gets a little bit too much flack because
this year he does. This year he did get too. I'll give him that. I don't think he had a choice, but I think Josh Hart was on him. I think that was on him.
Because what else was he supposed to do?
I don't know. Just a better rotation, I guess. I mean, granted, I know, but I don't. I mean, I have no idea. Granted, That's a complicated situation. That's for another day.
Yeah.
But you know, I think we both. I think it's just a matter of the C's. Are they going to beat themselves?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. If the C's lost the series, it's because they beat themselves. It's not because the Pacers were better.
No, on paper, the C's are probably the best team in the NBA.
Right.
When they're all on the floor, on paper. But guess what? They ain't won on paper because actually that's not true. The Nuggets are the best team on paper, in my opinion, but they're out.
Right, they're out. Yeah.
The East has been depleted, essentially.
Right.
So I mean, the Celtics have had just as much of an easier ride to get to this point, just much as the Pacers have, if not easier.
Yeah, no, I mean the Celtics, they haven't really. No disrespect to. I mean, the Heat didn't have Jimmy, so that was a nothing series, and then the Cavs.
They tried.
They were never really going to be a threat to the Celtics,
I mean, they gave them hell, but again, that's where it shows. Like the Cavs the Celtics cruised, like they just cruise controlled, and that's what I think is going to hurt them. And that's like, we'll see.
Yeah, they definitely got to try a little harder against the Pacers. There's no doubt. But I think like if the Pacers had finished the job in Game 1, I would have had a different tune. But I feel like that was their chance to really do damage in this series. Because if they had taken Game 1, they have all the momentum, and then it's a whole different conversation. Because even though the Celtics are better, momentum plays a big role. But because they lost that, it feels like it's just going to be hard to recover from that. The team's already better than you, and you blew the chance to steal Game 1.
I still think everyone's overreacting about that, which is great. That's a great transition because to everyone out there, we've been on a roll. We're like butter. Like warm butter, been on a roll, baby. Let's do it. Because this is the line tonight. Unless it's changed, which I'm looking at right now. Nope, it has stayed the same. Oh, no. Hold on. Yep, sure has. It stayed the same. Like Led Zeppelin, the song remains the same. All right. So, I know. Shout out to Zeppelin. Let's roll. Word to Big Bird. All right, so I disagree with everyone on this. I'm going to let you go first. But before you say anything, I'm going to say I think everyone is overreacting about them. Yes, they blew the game. They did, no doubt. But I think have we not learned anything from these playoffs so far? How much everything like logic has no place. It has no place here.
I know. There's a lot of unexpected stuff. I know.
It's like the Nugs and Timbs series proved that. The Knicks proved that with having no one to play, they were almost going to have to start calling people off of the street.
Right. Logic
has no place in this in this world at this point. So I gotta just go ahead and I think I'm gonna let you go first and I'll say my piece. That's all I had to say to begin it though. What do you have? And give me a player prop if you could.
Yeah, I got you. So I'm gonna bring the spread down to 6.5. I'll take Boston there. And I'm confident in Boston, but 8.5 is a little much, just a little bit. I got it more by like two or three possessions. So, and then player prop. I'll go with Miles Turner, like I said earlier. Just because I think that without Kristaps in there, and Miles has been playing well, like you said. There's no reason why he shouldn't play well this game, especially with the Pacers' backs against the wall. And Siakam is kind of like up and down, so I don't have like confidence in him game to game. Siakam is kind of like he shows out when he shows out, and then sometimes he just kind of disappears. So, and then over under, I'll take the over just because the Pacers usually play pretty high scoring games. So, what do you think?
I like it. I actually like everything you said.
Thank you.
I did. You're welcome. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and reiterate what I said earlier. This is going to be a blowout one way or the other, in my opinion. I don't know. Don't ask me why. This is a gut feeling, and so far this series, my gut feelings have been right. I said yesterday I thought the Pacers were going to win. The only bet I lost in 2 days ago's game, only one I lost. I won all my bets, including a prop bet duo prop bet on Pascal Siakam, saying in fourth quarter, 8+ points and 3+ rebounds. And then also he was going to have a 3-pointer in the either way. I love Pascal. My buddy, however, went with Obi Toppin, and it worked out. And you know who else? And I'm actually going to go with Mr. Toppin on this, former Nick. On Prize Picks, he's got not a green goblin, but a red demon. He's got a demon next to him, which means it's 10x for his prop pick. 10.5 points more. Take up, eclipse that. I think he's going to score 17 tonight, probably. Because I think it's going to be a put back kind of game. But at least at the lowest 15. But he's going to get 10.5 points because he's going to play close to the rim. That's what he does. He's athletic. He's also a fast break threat. He's going to be all about it. Dude can't shoot half the time, but it goes both. He can, but he won't. He can, but he. It's off and on.
Shooting's not his specialty. He's more of a rim guy.
I mean, he can, but it's not like I wouldn't recommend him to do it. But yeah, he's close to the basket kind of guy. There's gonna be a lot of rebounding in this game necessary for the Pacers to win. Yes. So I'm going to take Mr. Toppin on that. If you want a little saucy one, like I've been coining this recently. You want a little extra sauce on your enchilada, a little extra spice. Then there's Tyrese Halliburton. There's Hallie, 19 points, more or less or more. I'm going to be positive, less or more. I think he's gonna eclipse that again because he has.
I agree. That's an easy pick.
I mean, I don't see why that wouldn't even be a question. He has to be the one that scores.
Right.
I might put that in right now. Bam, right there. There we go. So I mean, that gets that out of the way. Now, what I said about the blowout thing. You know what? I'm actually not going to shy away from this today. All right. Safe. I said this last time. I'll give you the safe pick, which is Indiana covering the 8.5. If you're feeling bold, which I was so close to getting, and I stood by it when I was bold. I told you all I was going to do it. I was one Jaylen Brown shot away from getting that money line. $10 making 90. All right. That close. Damn.
So you picked Indiana last game?
I picked the money line. Yeah, I didn't pick the spread. I told him I was going to go with the bold pick, so I went with that. I stuck by my word on that one. I did as I said, But I also said if you want the safer route, take the spread, covering the spread. I'm going to say the same thing this game. 8.5 is way too much.
Yeah.
If you're feeling cautious, take Indiana covering. If you're feeling bold like me, take the plus 300 because that's a very good return. And definitely take the over. In fact, I'm going to actually take an alternate total, and I'm going to bump it up to 235.5.
I like it.
The same as I did last game, and guess what? Guess what it went to? 242. So,
well, yeah. I mean that was overtime though, but yeah,
it was still past. It was still 230. It was still like really high before. Actually, maybe even 250. It was like ridiculous. Yeah. No, it was like I did 235 and I eclipsed it. It doesn't matter if it was overtime. It still counts. It's all counts. All right. 235. It's all points. So I'm going to bump it up to 235.5. And if you want to do a money line, that is a huge return. I don't have the numbers on me. I don't have Gabriel with me. So or Andre. So I'll let him. You guys can do the math at home. But if you're feeling more cautious, definitely still do the over. Definitely still do Indiana covering. And I got Toppin, 10.5s eclipses that. Hallie, 19 points, eclipses that. He eclipse that. He will eclipse that. Ugh, sounded weird. So let's roll with that. All right. So, but I'm predicting a blowout one way or the other. So I know that but you can already tell. I think Indiana is going to be. This is going to be an Indiana game. I'm pretty sure. In fact, I'm calling it now. I'm calling it, baby. I'm doing Babe Ruth over here. I'm going to.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going for the grandstand. All right. All right, man. I'm going
So are you picking money line?
I personally am going to do the money line, but if you're feeling a little safer, then do the spread. Cover Indiana cover.
Rock is a bold man. I like it.
I mean, I got it. I said I had a good feeling about the previous one. I wasn't far off. Granted, almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, but I was really damn close.
Yeah.
Oh man, but damn, Hallie didn't switch. Hallie just didn't play well. He was one of the main problems in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, I know. He totally botched it.
Yeah, he did.
Oh.
Siakam is going to have a good game too, but yeah, that's where I'm at with this. Now we're about to wrap this sucker on up, and that means that you know what? I'm gonna pull a Philly person here because I've been watching Bel Air. What Jean you want to say, bro? What Jean you want to say? What Jean you want to say, bro? Where will we find you? Where will we find you? Go plug yourself real quick.
I love the Philly accent from the Southern boy.
Did I do it all right?
I mean, you know, it can use some improvement, but you'll get there. Yeah, man. So you can find me on Twitter at joshvaldez100.com. Not .com. At joshvaldez100. I write for Clutch Points and Total Apex, so you can find me on clutchpoints.com or totalapexsports.com. You know what it is. And that's that, man. Shout out to the New York Yankees who are killing it right now. Another win today. I just want to say that for the vibes. And yeah, that's it. What about you, E-Rock?
I'm just gonna go ahead and say, tune in. We're gonna have a part 2 to said.
That's right.
We will be doing a very similar slate. I will switch it. Well, the executive producers will switch it up a little bit, just so because Josh, you will be back, right?
I will.
It will be in a couple of hours. I'm going to actually be on another podcast as a crisscross applesauce. We'll be scratching each other's back on both. So let me see. Let me make sure I get the name of my bros. It's my brother Gabe over here. He's got his show coming on. It's the Curious Sports Pulse YouTube channel. I will be on that in about 20-ish minutes, give or take. And then Gabe, well, I just gave away the surprise. Gabe will be on with Jordan and Josh on part 2 of ScOutCast Media's Paint to Paint. So Paint to Paint, can't wait because you ain't even seen it until guess what?
Woo!
We gonna make you faint because you're making so much money that it's like wet paint where it peels off the wall, baby. Let's go. Or not peels off. I love it. Dripping swagoo. All right. Well, everyone, we are out of here, and we will talk to you actually very soon. So I'm gonna sign you off, Josh. Say what's up, brother. Peace. See you in a little bit. Oh, and by the way, you can find me at livinggood09. And we will see.